find our way on the open prairie, we stop sometimes and look, remember.
The project came to me about 3 years ago. I said to my agent, what I'm looking for is an epic love story. And as it turned out, it's more a story of connection between two people than an epic love story, but I fell in love with it. Steve Knight actually came up with the idea about 14 years ago. He had a fascination with Native American history ever since he was at school. He grew up loving Westerns, loving Native American history.
I have a proposition.
So who've you painted before?
It's a very universal story of human connection. Two people without a voice giving each other hope.
What?
It's raining.
I also loved that Steve had given a woman who's just a tiny footnote in the history books a proper life on screen.
The only battle I ever fought against is insignificance.
So live more.
That's what I want to do.
It was very important to get the story right. There was a great sense of responsibility in telling this very important piece of history.
You always walk this fast. You don't walk ahead of a chief.
Should I walk behind?
Side by side is fine.
The title Woman Walks Ahead comes from the name which Sitting Bull gave to Catherine Weldon. And that's documented. It's one of the few things that's known about Catherine Weldon in recorded history.
If I want to walk, I will damn well walk.
We know that Sitting Bull proposed marriage to Catherine Weldon. We know that she came from Brooklyn and travelled out very bravely on her own.
Forgive me, ma'am, but very few unaccompanied ladies travel beyond Omaha.
Then they are missing some rare beauty.
One of the things I loved about Jessica's character is that she's so feisty, she's so strong. She sets off on this journey afraid of no one. Jessica was super brave and unstarry about it. She said, I want to sweat. I want people to see how hot I am, how uncomfortable I am.
That look like enough to you? Yeah, give me more, because I've been in walking and it hasn't.
Because she saw that as a way of exploring the character, which I thought was wonderful that she really embraced it. It was great for me to have the chance to make a film with such a strong female lead in it. You know, hurrah that we got finance for a movie with a strong woman at the heart of it, telling an important political story. She's a woman with a voice, with a sense of humor, with a set of opinions, who's championing democracy for the Lakota people. At the time, she didn't have a vote herself.
I've decided to help the campaign against the treaty. I have a democratic right to do this. Any violent move against me or any of the people I campaign with will be reported to the senator by wire.
So she was one badass woman, Catherine Weldon, and I'm so proud we put her on the screen. There's also just something physical about Jessica, you know, that wonderful pale complexion out there in that wild landscape.
You're not good at keeping still, are you?
Shoot me. Then I will be still.
What would be the point of shooting you? Bullets don't seem to have any effect.
So after Jessica, the next biggest search was to find a Native American actor who had the spiritual qualities of Sitting Bull and the presence, who could hold his weight against a movie star of Jessica Chastain's caliber.
Once I would have taken 100 warriors and finished that whole town. Now I've learned to swallow it, like swallowing rocks.
We really did a massive search across people who had some experience, no experience, a fair bit of experience. And we knew when we were in the room that there was something very special that happened between Michael Greyeyes and Jessica. There was a sort of electricity that happened between them.
Are we here for the night?
Michael's got a wonderful screen presence. There's a stillness about him, there's a wisdom about him, and there's a sense of fun about him. And it was important for me that we found someone who could carry the humor that we know Sitting Bull had, as well as his spirituality and his wisdom.
Sitanka means big feet. Maybe that could be your Indian name.
One of the things I really wanted to evoke was a sense of the land.
You cannot sell pieces of the earth.
Tawayalo.
Because the earth belongs to God.
And I felt that the land should be a character in the film, in a sense that it was bigger than anybody. So it was very important to me that I created with Mike Ely, the cinematographer, this spiritual sense of landscape and time. And we made the decision to shoot in New Mexico, where I knew we would get incredible light and incredible skies like nowhere I've shot. We'd get amazing moments. I mean, there's a moment when Sitting Bull tells Catherine he's going to die.
Don't tell me that.
And we suddenly got a streak of lightning. And people probably think that's CGI, but that actually happened. We went for take 2. We get another streak of lightning. It was the most extraordinary chance. Or, well, some of our Native Americans said that it was more than chance, that there was a kind of destiny about that and that it was meant. We knew costume was going to be really important in telling this story because through looking at documentary photographs, we found this progression from the beginning of the story when people were forced to wear Western clothes.
This is the suit I wore to meet the President of the United States.
By the end of the film, we've got a lot of people in Native American dress. And I found Stephanie Colley, who was a real find. She charted this movement of Catherine relaxing, letting her hair down, incorporating more Native American elements into her costume as people gave her things from the community, which they did. And also for the Native American community, progressing back into wearing their traditional clothing. I love the sense of colour she brought to it and a respect for those traditional crafts. And we had a lot of people in the community making those costumes as well. There's a wonderful moment in the film when he puts on his war shirt. And for Michael Greyeyes, I know that was a very, very important moment for him in the making of the movie, that he knew how key that moment was for Sitting Bull to reassume his warrior status, his status as a chief. We didn't have a vast amount of money for our sets, but Jeffrey Kirkland is a legend. What drives Jeffrey above all else is this great story, and he felt this was a story that was so important he wanted to be a part of telling it. Actually, our biggest set is free because it's this huge landscape, people under the sky. But really, there's not much of a set build. There's some teepees. I think our biggest expense was Sitting Bull's cabin, and Jeffrey built that in exactly the way it would have been built. We had these giant, massive logs which were brought onto the set.
Who was that?
This used to be his cabin until I told him to leave.
He looked so... magnificent.
I was dealing with real people's lives and real people's memories. And to tell the story of the Lakota people was a hugely responsible task. And I spent as much time as I could in the community. So we had Native American choreographers, we consulted the elders a lot. There was also a movement based on hope called the Ghost Dance, and there was only one photographic record of it, but the music had survived traditionally, handed down. People were weeping that night when we staged that scene because it meant so much to those people. It was a way of reconnecting with your relatives who died. It was a way of moving into the afterlife and giving yourself some sense of something to hope for. It was very, very moving. The day that we did the death of Sitting Bull, there was a hush that came over the whole set, the moment when Chaska is weeping and singing that song of grief. It was incredibly moving. People, had tears running down their faces on set. for all the artifice that you have, that you're pretending there's snow when you're in boiling hot New Mexico, and, you know, there's a lot of pretending going on, there was no doubt that the weight of those events was felt by the entire crew.
Chantoganake. To place and hold in your heart this moment, young again. Hold it in your heart.